is Hemendra Mathur from ThinkAg. I welcome all the participants and panelists. As you may be aware, we have been doing a series on digitization of poultry value chain, and this is another episode in the same series. I think the last few episodes we got tremendous response from the audience, and that's one of the reason to continue this series, and take it forward. We are extremely grateful to Suresh and Srinivasa Hatcheries for their support, for bringing a lot of knowledge and their network to this episode and earlier episodes as well. And as part of the series, the whole aim is to bring multiple stakeholders, including startups, industry, banks, insurance companies, financial institutions, investors on board who have interest in the poultry sector. And that's what we have attempted to do so far. We've got startups from India, from abroad. We've got multiple industry partners in the previous episodes, and of course, other stakeholders. At ThinkAg, we firmly believe that poultry is a very critical sector. We talk of doubling farmer income, and that's not going to happen from crops alone, and that's where diversification is extremely important. We have seen the benefit accrued because of animal husbandry, especially dairy. And I think poultry is another very, very large segment, which can go a long way in improving farm economics. And that's where role of innovation, role of digitization comes into play. Fortunately, the ecosystem is developing, and we need a lot of support from the stakeholders to take it forward. And that's why I want to build this dialogue. So again, I welcome all of you to this episode and look forward to continue the discussion. And with that, I'll hand it over to Suresh for his opening remarks. And I'll request my colleague Abhijit to steer the discussion. Another colleague of from ThinkAg, Raman, would be joining in a short while, and he'll be taking forward the discussion. So over to you, Suresh.
Thank you, Hemendra, and ThinkAg. Abhijit, thanks for putting this together and all your diligent work. So again, this is our 5th episode, if I'm not wrong. And we've been having pretty good response. The idea has been with ThinkAg to, bring people who are working the startups and also thought leaders together, so that we can talk to the people participating in the industry, and like Abhijit said, the bankers and all the other connected people. And I think we've been so we have this once every 2-3 months, and we're getting pretty good response. Gives thought leaders like we have today, 2 or 3 of them, and Dr. Chatterjee, Dr. Dinesh, and several like that before. And also we have some other people also have done this in other industries in digitalization, which I think is critical for poultry going forward. We are a very technical industry, but I think now we also need to work on the future technologies and opportunities that we need to get good at, which digitalization is, I think, is a must now for the industry. So with that, now I request, I bring to you Dr. Rudranath Chatterjee, or Chatterjee as we know him, director of our poultry research, this thing in Hyderabad, of ICAR, Directorate of Poultry. I think he's the senior most director of ICAR. He's I think he's always been, I think, I don't know if any director has been longer than him at our poultry research in Hyderabad, but he's been here close to 12 years. Thank you, Chatterjee, for your service and for your contribution. And you have been an amazing partner to the industry and a well-wisher. Dr. Chatterjee has got his PhD in animal genetics from Chandrasekhar Azad University of Agriculture and Technology, Kanpur, Mathura campus. And he's been a professor there for many years. He's been teaching there, and I think up to 16 and a half years, he's been teaching at, if I'm not wrong, at your alma mater, right? The professor at yeah, this thing. So again, as I said, he's a great friend of the industry and a great contributor. So today, Dr. Chatterjee, over to you for the keynote address.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. My sincere thanks to the organizer, particularly Suresh ji, Chairman and MD of Srinivasa Farms, Dr. Dinesh ji, and all the esteemed speakers and distinguished participants. So I think I am audible, and now I will share my slides. Is it okay, sir? Visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you so much. Once again, I thank the organizers and all the esteemed colleagues from the poultry industry and from the government sector. As you know that the poultry, as has been mentioned by Suresh ji, that poultry is an important sector of livestock and poultry. Why it is not moving? It is not moving, no? Yeah, okay. So if we see the livestock and poultry sector overall, we all know that in milk we are producing 210 million tons and we are number one in the world, and that is contributing around 9 lakh crores to the GDP, Indian GDP. And meat sector, it is contributing 8.8 million tons. Out of that, egg poultry meat is contributing 4.6 million tons, which is 50.5% of the total meat production of the country. Then, as you know that if we go for the total agricultural contribution from 1980-81 to 2019-20, agricultural contribution has been decreased. But if you see this one, the animal science or the livestock and poultry contribution, that has been increased over the years from 1980-81 to 2019-20. And if we see the total contribution of livestock and poultry sector to the total GDP of our country, that has been, except in few years, it is almost 4.35% over the years. So, the overall contribution of the overall contribution of the livestock and poultry sector at present is 30.3% of the total agricultural sector. Almost one-third contribution is coming from the livestock and poultry sector. Now, if we talk about the revolution, revolution is such a word. We know that initially this country was agriculturally deficient. Thereafter, it has become sufficient in agriculture. Now we are agriculture exporter. So if we see milk in 1950-51, it was 17 million tons, and that has been increased to 210 million tons now. So 12 times increase in milk, and we have mentioned as white revolution. As we have said in case of green revolution in 1966-67, when there was an increase of 2 to 3 times. Of course, the crops increase between 1950-51 and 21-22 has been 11 point something percent, something times, 11 times, and meat of course 17 times. So we are mentioning a spring revolution, but the major contributor or the fastest growing sector of the agriculture, that is the egg sector or the poultry sector. If you see here, there is 68 times. This is the only sector where there is 68 times growth between the last 7 decades. But we have never mentioned it as the either egg revolution or poultry revolution. Similar is the case of the poultry meat. There has been 23 times growth in the last 7 decades. Of course, wool, there is no revolution. There is not much increase in the wool sector. Now we all know the statistics regarding the egg production, poultry meat production, per capita availability. Only thing is that backyard poultry population in the last 7 years, between 2012 and 2019, there was an increase of 46%. Of course, the major contributor of egg production is coming from the poultry industry or the commercial poultry sector, that is around 82%. But of course, backyard sector is also contributing around 18% in poultry egg production in our country. And if you see here that the poultry meat sector that is contributing more than 50% of the total meat contribution in the country, of course there is one deficiency is there, that is the export export from the poultry sector, that we will discuss later on. And if you see the broiler industry, 94%, that is the live sector, or from directly from the wholesale market we are getting the poultry meat. Only 6%, 6 to 7% is from the frozen meat sector. And these are some of the automated poultry feed industry. Many are there, of course. And of course there is an increase of 6 to 7% every year in egg production, and 8 to 10% every year in poultry meat production, that we all know. But there are some challenges, and the main challenges are escalating feed cost, exotic and emerging diseases like avian influenza, maybe low pathogenic, maybe high pathogenic, and etc., etc. And there are some other re-emerging diseases also, and exotic diseases are also there. Then biosecurity, biosafety in the farm, then export of the poultry produces, as I have just mentioned. Then animal welfare. I can remember that animal welfare, I was associated with this particular issue in the national level. I was the chairman, that was by the BIS, Bureau of Indian Standard, since 2014, and whatever recommendation has been given by our committee, that has been accepted by DADF, and that has been put forth to the Delhi High Court. So there is no much issue so far. It is in sub judice. And another thing is that AGP and AMR issue. We all know that AMR, antimicrobial resistance, is being contributed by all the sectors of the ecosystem, maybe livestock, maybe poultry, maybe fishery, maybe soil, maybe human. Human is the major creator of AMR issue. And poultry is blamed for AMR or many other things, and there are many myths. And we should educate the people, and people are being educated, of course, because of the initiation from the poultry industry as well as from the government sector. And besides the challenges, we know there are new opportunities, maybe in biotechnology, maybe transgenesis, gene silencing, molecular breeding, or genomics to augment poultry productivity. Then value addition, maybe through either transgenesis or through nutrition. Then nanotechnology in different fields, then propagation or digitalization, maybe ICT tools we are using maybe for the last 10-15 years. Then organic farming, or of course in different parts of the country there is a great scope for organic farming and export of the organic products. And we know that in the present scenario, the poultry meat or the broiler, they attain 2 kg body weight at 32 days. That is a great contribution from the poultry sector, and nobody can think of earlier days. And if we go to 1970s, that time the target was 1.5 kg in 15 weeks of age. So we can see how much this particular sector has grown over the years. So we are at par with the most developed countries of the world in poultry sector, maybe egg, maybe meat sector. And there are 4 billion broiler population and 300 million layer population at present in the country. And the layer population, the layer birds, the commercial layer birds, they are having the potential of 320 to 330 eggs per year to produce in a year. So this is about the value chain that starts from the pure line breeders, then parent breeders, that goes to the farmers or the integrators, and finally after packaging or processing or through live marketing, it goes to the consumers. So that is the total value chain in short. And this is the in broiler sector particularly the value chain for the poultry integration in broiler. So this is about the backyard poultry sector, how it is operating, and how our institute is it is contributing around 4.5 million. We are supplying our improved varieties, whatever we have developed in our institute or in our ASRP centers across the country, in each and every state and union territories, and mostly for the backyard poultry population. So regarding automation, we all know that automation is already there in the poultry sector, maybe in feeding, watering, egg collection, vaccination, manure removal, etc., etc. And there are many advantages in the automation, maybe reduce in terms of cost of production, in terms of reducing labor cost, in terms of improving welfare and other product quality improving. Then, so far the digitalization is concerned, maybe we have started with the ICT tools, then mobile app, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, this is already there, this is existing. But recently, in the last few years, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things and robotics, that has come to our sector, and we are doing some work with the Ministry of Information and Technology, Government of India, and digitalization is also possible in different sectors of the poultry. But the challenges are the digitalization in terms of AI, IoT, robotics, that is possible when there is high capital investment and suitable for the large poultry operations. So this is regarding the IoT. Probably somebody is there. They will discuss or deliberate on Internet of Things, and we know that we use sensor, antenna, then microprocessor, etc., and that is one IoT hub that will be there in the poultry shed, and through smartphone we can control the whole system, and we can take the benefit of IoT in the poultry sector. So how the monitoring of the poultry environmental parameters, maybe temperature, relative humidity, carbon dioxide, ammonia, etc., because these are the problems, and that affects the poultry productivity, fertility, mortality, stress, etc., and that can be monitored through Internet of Things or through using artificial intelligence, or maybe in future, in the near future, through robotics, as we are seeing in the other field. So this is the smart poultry farming, or the smart poultry environmental sensing unit, how it occurs, maybe in terms of temperature, humidity sensor, sensor for light, sensor for gas, how it is operating, where the controller will be there within the poultry shed. And this is a typical picture of the poultry shed, where the sensor will be there and other controlling systems will be there. And this is of course AI based vocalization, how we can tell that this particular bird having different voice, whether that bird is under stress or that is having some disease problem. So through the vocalization, through AI based technologies, through sensors, we can tell and we can monitor whether there is any disease condition or stress of the birds. So we are doing some work on this particular aspect in relation to Internet of Things, and the objectives of the study, that is one institute, CDEC, Calcutta, that is Center for Development of Advanced Computing, and in collaboration with the industry also, industry sector also, some partner is there, and our objective is to detect the few important poultry environmental parameters in chicken health, then vocalization analysis to monitor various parameters, maybe incubation, thermal stress, health monitoring, growth prediction, etc. So the expected benefit that the poultry industry is going to get out of that from the IoT or maybe AI, maybe automated and reliable, and that will be fast and timely response will be there, uninterrupted monitoring 24/7, we can monitor from sitting at home, then early detection of stress, then reducing the operation cost and improving bird welfare, etc. And regarding the technology adoption, it has been discussed, I have seen in the part 3 and part 4 also, that many agri entrepreneurs are coming, and we are also in the HRD program, this particular institute in collaboration with Manage and many states, the state government officials, senior state government officials, they are coming, agri entrepreneurs, they are coming, and they are taking training from us, and they are then they are starting the poultry business. Then I have seen that different engineers, recently there was a program from ICR, and that name is Hackathon. Through Hackathon, we went to different engineering colleges, IIT colleges, IIT Hyderabad, etc., and we have got some of the students or maybe final year students who are interested to use the artificial intelligence technology or IoT technology, which can help finally to the poultry sector. So even many IITians, they are also coming, and I have seen some of the medicos, maybe few medicos, they are also interested for the poultry sector. So actually being an employee from the government sector, we know that there are two ministries who are in the research and development aspect, that is Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, that is number one, then Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, where ICR is there, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, we are part of that. Then 2 animal science institutes are there, DPR and CARI. Then there are 15 veterinary universities. They are working on different aspects of poultry as well as HRD aspect. Then SIUs and CIU, Central Agricultural Universities are also there, where there are different numbers of veterinary colleges are there across the country. Then private veterinary colleges are also coming up in different states, and besides that, central poultry development organizations under the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, they are also working on different aspects of poultry. So far the impact of our institute is concerned, we are having a regional center at Bhubaneswar. We are mainly working on chicken. That was the first species we have started. Then recently, 2 years back, we have started working on ducks also. We have a regional center in Bhubaneswar. And besides that, we have 12 ASAP centers across the country and 12 different poultry seed project centers across the country. Now, what DPR is doing? So the poultry varieties we have developed, maybe for the intensive poultry farming, maybe for the backyard poultry farming. Then poultry germplasm supply, we are supplying about 45 lakhs of germplasm per year in every corners of the country. Then high density DNA chip, you know that for selection, maybe genome-wide associated selection, GWAS, the DNA chip is required to be developed for the native breeds who are having the important parameters or the characters which can be used for the poultry industry sector also. So for that, maybe another 1 month or 2 months, we are going to get the DNA chips which is in the pipeline. That is for the 10 native breeds where we have going to develop the DNA chip. Besides that, we have developed the chicken which can produce low cholesterol egg. Of course, the cholesterol content in egg is not a big problem, is not at all a problem, but still there was a question from some part of some corner that we should develop the chicken which can produce low cholesterol egg. Then another thing is that transgenic chicken as bioreactor. We know that GM crop that is there, maybe maize, maybe soybean, or maybe other aspects are also there which are not being accepted. But if we develop the transgenic chicken as bioreactor, which in terms of having medicinal value, like human alpha interferon we have targeted and we have developed the transgenic chicken which we are using as bioreactor. And the human alpha interferon is a drug that is required for the as antiviral therapy, or for different anti-cancer therapy also that is being used. And 1 dose of human alpha interferon in the market at present is, the value is rupees 1,500. But we have seen 1 egg from the transgenic chicken or from the bioreactor that can produce 4 doses of human alpha interferon. That means the 1 egg is costing around 6,000. So we have isolated the human alpha interferon that has been evaluated by third party, that is National Institute of Animal Biotechnology, our neighboring institute in Hyderabad. Then we have done on genome editing also, genome edited birds into different native breeds we have done for 2 different genes, that is prolactin and inhibin gene, and we have seen that there is at least 1.5 times increase in the egg production in the native breeds. And besides that, we have done work on gene silencing. As you know that there is one gene, myostatin, that produce muscle protein, and if the expression of the myostatin is more, then the growth will be less. So if we make gene silencing, then the growth will be more. So that is the negative regulator of growth. So similarly, we have done marker assisted selection. Then cryopreservation is an important thing. Cryopreservation of chicken semen is not very easy across the world, but there are certain cells, primordial germ cell as well as embryonic stem cell. So we have done the cryopreservation of the PGC as well as ESC also, that is being continued. Then smart poultry farming using the AI and IoT, that is also under progress. Then genome assembly in Kodaknath, as you know that in one meeting, video conferencing with different states, our Honorable Prime Minister, he took the name of Kodaknath, and suddenly the market of Kodaknath that has been increased even in Hyderabad. In and around Hyderabad, 3 years or 4 years back, the Kodaknath rate was around 1,200, 1,000 to 1,200 per bird once upon a time, but of course now it is around 400, 500, very normal. And what is the whether there is anything is there at molecular level, that's what we are doing, that study. Then breed signatures, species signature was there. We are having a neighboring institute, NRC, on meat. They are doing, they are isolating or separating whether from the beef to mutton or maybe sirloin or pork, whatever it is there. But breed signatures was not there earlier. But for different native breeds, we have developed the breed signatures of one species, that is chicken. Similarly, alternative feed ingredients, we have worked for the last 2 decades, and we have published 2 books. One is for the whole country, another is for region-specific alternative feed ingredients, because you know that soybean is a big problem now. Then climate resilient poultry production, that was the need of the hour, and we have developed one product after study in the last maybe 8 years. We have developed one product, OxyCure. We have named it as OxyCure. Third-party laboratory is already completed. And besides that, different diagnostic kits alternate to AGP in terms of herbal combination, in terms of nutritional modulation also. What is the alternative of AGP that we have developed? Maybe that will also be commercialized. Then AMR, what is the actual impact of the poultry sector or the livestock sector? That is one network project being conducted, organized by ICR as well as FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. We are part of that, and we are doing in different species, including poultry. Besides that, we have developed the designer egg production, then wealth from waste, etc., etc. And we have developed different varieties. These are all known, and we have developed even a layer variety that has the potential to produce 315 to 320 eggs per year under the intensive system. Besides that, we have developed location-specific varieties for backyard or feed-in system. Bonaraja Kamopra, this is all known, and this is the contribution how this institute is contributing in terms of money in the country. So this is the output or the knowledge network that is being produced by our varieties, Bonaraja Kamopra, and how many species they have been means that is there. Then regarding the budget, India is in the lowest rank in terms of the R&D spending. That is the news from the Niti Aayog. We can see here, and if we see here, the maximum budget on R&D, that is by the country Israel, followed by Germany, then USA, and we are in the bottom, just above Indonesia. So it is only 43.41. So it is only 0.65% of its GDP that is being used or spent for the research and development purpose. And India needs more than just Jugaad technology to ramp up innovation. A recent report shows India's spending on research and developments, R&D sector, each one of the lowest in the world. So that is a matter of concern for all of us. And finally, poultry research, extension and education for development of the farmers, that is breed, you can say. And I once again convey my sincere thanks to Sureshji and the organizers and all the esteemed colleagues for inviting me to deliver a lecture on this particular aspect. And thank you so much. This is the part 5. I think, and so much of farmers are being benefited through this type of meeting, maybe through for digitalization of the poultry sector. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee ji. Thank you very much for that update, and so I'm sure we will get in touch with you to find out some of those technologies and how we can use.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for that. And now invite Dr. Dinesh, who has been talking on the subject. I think he had a recent presentation too to the industry. Dinesh is GM AB Vista Asia, and so again, Dinesh has been quite involved in the industry and a friend of the industry, has served as a past chair of CLAFMA. And of course, he's a veterinarian and quite active in the industry leadership and always in the groups. So Dinesh has extensive experience in the industry. He's worked with Venkateshwara Hatcheries, and he was also with American Soybean Association, very active there. He used to come and meet us all. We all found out about ASA because of Dinesh. And then Dinesh joined AB Vista. I think, I don't know, it's been 10 years now, Dinesh, at least. or at least that sounds like that. He looks very young, but he's quite a senior. Maintains himself well. So he helps a lot of NGOs like Indian Dairy Farmers Association, Pani Foundation, Swadesh Foundation, and especially a lot of young veterinarians. He mentors and helps them find jobs. So he keeps sending me some CVs every month. So Dinesh, over to you on the subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh, and thank you, organizers, for inviting me. I will not take much time. I am more interested to listen to our panelists today because our panelists are working on the um, future thing for Indian poultry sector. As Chatterjee sir has mentioned about our sector, uh, broiler sector turnover is 85,000 crores and turnover of our layer sector, eggs sector is around 45,000 crores. But if you look at the per capita consumption in India, it's very low. Um, um, Whatever broiler and eggs organized sector is producing, they are mainly sold in urban areas and peri-urban areas. And 60% of our population stays in villages. They are not yet getting regular supply of broilers and eggs from the organized sector. If you'll see, only in metro cities, people are eating eggs in the breakfast. If you go to smaller cities, if you go to villages, egg is still luxury. People are eating anda burji, or they are having anda curry only in the dinner. And in many states, non-veg is not cooked at home. So I have seen in North India that the laborers, while going back to home, they will stop by a cart and they will eat omelette, boiled egg, or burji pav. I have seen students in Pune and other cities in the night, after taking break in the study, they will go and eat eggs preparations at night between 12 to 2 a.m. And I still remember, means I was at Vijayawada railway station, and eggs were packed in cartoon boxes, and they were going to West Bengal. And it was written on the boxes that whosoever gives me cheaper source of full nutrition than egg, we will give 1,000 rupees reward. I'm sure nobody won that reward till yet, because egg is the cheapest source of all nutrition. We all know this. And today's topic is very apt, digital marketplace. Uh, the thing is that uh, it should be affordable, because whatever Licious, Fresh to Home, and other people are, other companies are selling, they are selling at premium rate. So it is not bought by Aam Janta. So I will request all startup companies, I will request all supply chain companies that you should make your rates more affordable. There should be little difference between the fresh chicken available in the shop and the processed chicken, chilled chicken, what companies are delivering either at home or they are selling offline also. Because what happens, there is a very limited customer for online purchase. People still love to go and buy offline. So I will encourage all companies who are traditionally into poultry business and other companies we are coming into supply chain. Please open mobile shops, please open stationery shops, and your sales will increase. And what happens that during festival season from now till November, the chicken and egg consumption outside home will increase. And the good thing is that after 2 years gap, we are again back, um, and now people are again going to restaurants, and people are ordering through Swiggy, Zomato, and other sources. So I think next 10 years will be very vibrant. and it will give us ample opportunity to digitize our poultry supply chain, because on one hand, India will be open for imported poultry products also. But as all of you know that there is a preference for chilled processed products, and frozen products will be mainly bought by institutional buyers like hotel industry and other institutional buyers. So I think many things needs to be done. I'm very happy that traditional poultry producing companies like Venky's, Saguna, Srinivasa, they are spending a lot of money on digitizing their supply chain. They are also trying to sell processed chicken. They are also trying to build a brand for their processed chicken. So it's a welcome movement, and I think there are 500 districts in India. So every company should at least have 500 branches to reach all districts. So decentralization is very important. Chicken should be available at arm's length. It's very important. Then only people will buy your chicken regularly. Means I have seen that I used to supply, means my wife used to supply chicken to her friends on every Sunday, chicken and eggs. So all those friends told that due to constant availability, the chicken and egg consumption went up. So therefore availability is very important, and it should be at arm's length. Now I can see that there are online apps like Dunzo and Zepto, Big Basket, who are trying to deliver products within 15 to 20 minutes. So I think all these efforts will improve poultry availability and poultry consumption in India. I thank DPR for inviting me to give lecture on 16th of this month. I will copy and paste the link of that lecture, because that was quite exhaustive, and it was for 1.5 hours. So I will request all of you to go through that lecture also. I will not take much time today. So thank you again.
Dinesh, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Dinesh. And appreciate your words. And definitely, I think the future for egg and chicken consumption is good. As India's GDP keeps growing, I think the consumption of these two products will be one of the first beneficiaries. Of course, the industry has to do, has to get better at, working on productions and also monitoring and I think doing some promotions. But I'm sure we'll get there. I think, and I said digitalization is possibly one of the first things we need to do to address many of the issues that are happening, and understanding what is happening on production and on marketing, and also to deal with certain myths and these media issues that happen. I think digitalization can be a huge benefit for us. So with that, I think now we will go into the presentations of the different poultry tech and ag tech presentations. I think the first in my list is Taranveer Singh. Manish, did you have any question? Did you want to ask something, or?
Yeah. I had a small question for Dr. Bhonsle.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'm just going back to the point that he's mentioning, that the consumption of eggs and meat, but I'd be focusing on eggs, is pretty low in India as compared to the world. And there might be many reasons. One of them could be the price sensitivity of the population. I was just reading a report somewhere that there are, somewhere, I think probably in the US, they have started production of plant-based eggs. So which is probably going to be a much bigger issue. I don't know, it may be another decade away for now. And we are probably good for one decade or so. But how we are going to handle that, how we are going to tackle that kind of challenge when we are not even able to handle the current issue of how we increase the usage of eggs in India. I don't know if you have some idea, but I thought maybe I'll just bring it to your notice.
Dinesh, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I'll just take 2 minutes on this. I think it's a very good question. What happens that in India, vegetarian people will not like to eat plant-based product because they will taste like a meat or egg, and non-vegetarian people will not like to taste plant-based meat product because they are not real meat and egg product. I will tell you my personal experience. I tried it in Singapore in one of the restaurant and I didn't like it. So basically our first target is that if you look at city like the Mumbai, per capita consumption of egg is 300. So our target for next 10 years will be to improve the per capita consumption, to improve the availability in all major cities, in all districts, even at village level, so that our per capita consumption should be doubled in next 10 years. And all these plant-based meat and egg products will be always available at premium prices. So it will not be for middle class and poor people. It will be only for the people who gives more importance to animal welfare issues and other things. So I think there will be a niche customer for these products, and it will be very low. I have seen that recently that Tata also launched similar products. So I think if you look at the turnover of it will not go beyond 1%. So
Okay.
I think let's focus on real meat and real eggs. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because I have some perspective on this as the chair of International Egg Commission, and we've been monitoring this. So these products are, I mean, he claims he sold so many this and that, but it is not even 1 hour of egg production so far what he has sold. So that's one point. Two, it is a highly processed product. So essentially, it is not an organic product in the sense it is not a natural organic product like an egg is. So 60-70% of the product is made up of inorganic materials, right? So the impact, like a D3 in the artificial egg is not the same as D3 in a natural egg. So your body absorbs them very differently. So it is like taking tablets, right? I mean, which means you have to take 8 to 10 times what you need for your body to convert into what, whereas from an egg, it is 1:1 consumption. So there are many things like that. And I don't think anybody has figured out how to produce an egg as efficiently as a chicken has. I don't think anybody is close to doing that, especially when you talk of digestibility, when you talk of, factor in all those things, these products are nowhere close. And I don't know if you're following the news now, almost all these companies are struggling. Their sales are tanking. The market, the share price of the companies that have gone listing have now come down some 90%, I think. And they're in real trouble now, and which is kind of funny because after all this time, I don't know why Tatas are coming in so late into this when the market is already collapsing globally. And the jury is out saying that the best it will do is 1.5%. And again, for that, Manish, they're saying to get 10% of the existing animal protein market, the investment needed is $2 trillion. I don't know who's going to put that, right? Because that appetite is gone because they're all collapsing. They're all, everybody's put in money. Actually, there is a group of people who've been called the vegan mafia. They're a set of white men, 4 or 5, who have done all this. They have made a lot of money. Now everybody who's invested is gone. They're losing the pant and shirt. So now those guys are being exposed by vegans themselves. The vegans are exposed. That term put by vegan mafia is again by vegans on these 4 guys who have made a lot of money in misleading people. So yeah, I don't know if a Jain is really itching to eat an egg if he doesn't want to eat, right? I mean, I think he's happy with his kya bolte hain, dal and all that, and can't imagine them thinking, "Arey, mere ko suddenly chicken khana hai," and so that is the reality for them now. Is pure vegans, like how Dinesh was saying, are not interested in trying any animal product. hardcore vegans or religious people. And people who are doing this are trying to experiment and then eventually finding out, why the hell am I paying 10 times more for, I can get chicken for much cheaper and much better and more varieties, because you can't make a lot of things with that. You can only make those, like you can only make scrambled egg with the artificial egg right now. You can't do boiled egg. You can't do a lot of other things that we do today. So anyway, so I think that's where it is, Manish. I think we have huge opportunity. I don't think we need to worry about that. Of course, it was something that we were tracking and looking at a year back, 2 years back. So I don't think it's something that we need to worry. Vijay, I think Vijay Makija is asking, is there a comparison of lab-based meat versus real eggs and composition? I think that truth is now coming out, Vijay. Ab tak wo, these guys have been trying to say a lot of things, but a lot of data is now coming out. It is not yet fully there, but like now there is a case against, I think, Impossible Burger, if I'm not wrong, in US, that, what they're declaring, their protein content, actually they're overstating by 40%. So there is a case going on in US now about that. And they've also been claiming that they are all natural products, but it found out that there are a lot of artificial ingredients and GM products that they are using in their manufacture. So that case is also going on against them in California courts. So yeah, I think we can ask Dr. Chatterjee and his team to do that study, but I don't know if the product is available in India, but maybe we can get it and test. But at least from the natural gains. But this is what the biggest guy who's there in this told me. When I asked him, how does your product compare to an egg? A natural egg, he says, nowhere close. He says, we are not natural. Nothing about our food is natural. So, so he said it doesn't compare. The D3 in our egg is nowhere close to a natural egg's D3. I mean, I was just asking him one particular question, B12, they can't have B12 in it. So it doesn't compare. So with that, I think we'll now quickly jump to the presentations. I hope Taranbir Singh of CEO and co-founder of Farms, FAARMS, is ready with his presentation. I think it's actually
I'm representing Taran. I am the co-founder over here, Alok. So
Hi, Alok.
yeah, thanks.
Go ahead.
So we don't have a presentation per se, but would like to share something, exactly what we are doing and where we want to excel along with the entire association over here on the poultry side. So we are looking from a supply chain side of it entirely on the backend side where we started and currently we are doing supplying of feed, both cattle and poultry and swine to round about. We are doing 25,000 tons every month to small and marginal farmers. So that's been our journey in over 70,000 villages across 7 states where we are currently working. So what we are seeing is that both sides, one is the intake from a plant to the small ones, taking to the small poultry farmers, and on the other side, the end product also going forward where we are working now, how we can supply that to the villages, especially the end consumer. So this is where our entire journey last 2.5 years as one of the segments in the entire portfolio Inspired Agri products is been working and very encouraging. We have seen right products being reaching both sides to the farmer who is producing and then further taking it out from the farmer to the other side. So this has been our journey, and I think there are a lot more things what we are seeing, adding more products related to poultry, both on the medicine side and other things. We have been encouraged by a couple of large producers, those who are helping us in putting the entire catalog together through the e-commerce format, and then supplying it to the doorstep. So this has been, I have not much more to say right now. Maybe during the interactions, I am able to hear more from everyone and then put together, my thoughts on that.
Thank you, Alok. So thank you very much. Welcome, Raman Ahuja, to the program. Thanks, Raman. Raman, can you take over from here?
Sure.
Next
Sure.
presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, will do. Thanks. Uh, so thanks, Suresh, and thanks, Alok. I think in parallel to the other speaker presenting, Alok, maybe what you can do is just put down on the chat the overview points that you have shared right now, because there'll be, as you know, there are 5 speakers, so people will have that context and they can ask questions based on that. Yeah. Thanks.
Absolutely. I'm doing that only. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So our next speaker is Saurabh. Saurabh, over to you.
Hi. Thank you, Raman sir. And am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So, all right. Thank you. I would like to thank actually ThinkAg platform and Srinivasa Farms for giving us this opportunity to share this platform with such eminent personalities from our industry. So we are just a startup. We are a small part of this industry, but definitely we are very happy to be serving this industry. So I'll straight away actually I'll come to our presentation. I'll take not much time. So I'll just share my screen here. So we are a startup. We are named Poultry. So we have a company incorporated by the name of Mangy's Private Limited, and Poultry is our trademarked brand name. So I hope the presentation is visible to you.
Can you put it on slideshow mode, Saurav?
Sure. Yes, sir. Okay. So I guess it is in full screen mode now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are a startup into the agri-tech sector, for primarily focusing in poultry industry. So I think our eminent speakers have already highlighted the key stats of the poultry industry and how the scenario is in India. And we are proud to be associated with a sector that is that holds a fourth largest place in the world in poultry sector. So, and it's one of the largest, I think, growing sector in agriculture, talking as a whole. So now coming straight to the topic of the webinar, that is technology or digitizing the poultry sector. So I'll just give you, I think this image, the single image gives you a glimpse of how the technology in agriculture is working in current scenario. So I think it's past 5 years we have been witnessing a use of great amount of technology or IoT devices into agriculture, be it into precision farming, be into analysis, soil health analysis or crop analysis. And we have also witnessed the uses of drones recently being used into spraying of pesticides or fertilizers. So this is how the technology is being adopted into agriculture. And I think the post-COVID era, it has been very, very welcomed into all the different sectors, not only agriculture, but different sectors of various businesses. So one point here that is precision farming. I think whenever we talk about say use of technology into agriculture, or whenever we talk of digitizing the agriculture, so the very common word that will mostly pop up is precision farming. So what precision farming actually is? So precision farming involves a very precise use of resources. So when we are talking about agriculture, precise use of resources could be water, could be fertilizers, so that get the maximum amount of yield out of our crops. So see, resources, any resource is very, very valuable, not only in terms of money, but also in terms of its value. So I think the precise use of resources would not only give the farmers a better yield or better profits, but also will serve society at a large. So now talking, what are the benefits of using technology into agriculture? Technology would help us actually plan better. And talking in context to poultry, it will help manage our farms better. We can manage our farms better when we are adopting the technology. And I'm happy to see, since I growing age, I have witnessed that poultry has been one of the pioneer sectors in adopting technology till date. Be it early 90s when I think nipple drinkers or the automated feeding systems were adopted by poultry industry, or be it late 90s when we saw the adoption of EC, say EC sheds with all automation and everything. I think that was long back in 90s, and agriculture sector only saw uses of IoT devices or sensors for say past 10 years. But I think though they were quite expensive at that point of time, but definitely poultry has been pioneer in experimenting the use of technology into its sector. So the next thing is it gives us a better analysis. So any digital data compared to manual logbooks or registers would definitely give you an analyzable data. And analyzable data would yield to better or say informed decisions. So once you can make informed decisions, once you can correlate your data, so taking preventive decisions specifically on time would give you or improve your yield or produce, and an improved produce will definitely increase your profits. So this is whole use of the technology or the benefit of the technology. Now talking about the technology and its use in poultry industry, that the industry we are serving in, and how does it help. So we are actually a startup focusing on say marketing linkages, as Dr. Dinesh very rightly mentioned, that there are very problems are being faced by farmers or the sellers or the buyers. And the primary problem is also, one of the primary problem is also marketing linkages. Though the farmer is using quite a technology, commercial technology to produce their livestock, but when it comes to marketing them or selling it off or liquidating his money, there are a lot many problems that he faces. So when we stepped into this industry, so then we realized some of the problems that the farmers were facing or the livestock farmers were facing selling their produce. I'd like to highlight here 7 of the key problems here. One, any livestock farmer has a very short window to sell. So the produce actually gets ready in around 30 to 35 days. Post that, farmer has a limited window to sell off or trade off his livestock. Why? Because after a certain age, till it is sold, there is a constant cost that is incurred by the farmer. Secondly, after a certain age, it becomes proceeds to becoming a perishable. Perishable, when I mean to say that the mortality ratio rises. Second is narrow market reach. So the traditional method of say marketing our livestock has always been selling it to the nearby farmers or so nearby buyers or traders or nearby retail shops. So they are mostly bound by geographical location. So each farmer that does not have a wide range of market. He is mostly dependent on his local market to sell off his livestock. That volatility of price in the market, this is one major point of concern. So price in the poultry industry is very volatile. It keeps on changing on a daily basis like a share market. And what happens is this price changes are not very well communicated to the end farmers, especially the small farmers living in rural areas. Why? Because when producing their livestock, mostly the farmers during the production cycle, they are out of the market. They are not in touch with the market regularly. They are in touch with the market when their livestock gets ready to be sold. They are not happening, or they are not say very well aware of the price fluctuations when selling of his livestock, whether it is an uptrend or downtrend. Sometimes the latest price prevailing in the market is not communicated to them. This is a major point where they make losses. Second is late or price war due to incept of say integration or in coming of big houses into poultry. So past 4 to 5 years have witnessed, especially in North India, that the prices of the broiler or the trading prices are finalized or decided very late hours of the night, sometimes 8 to 9 p.m. and sometimes even 10 p.m. What happens is the small farmers here suffer. They are not able to make their or close their deals in time. They are not able to sell off their livestock. They are not able to make any distant bookings where they could sell off their produce. Thirdly is exploitation, as already mentioned, not due to narrow market reach and volatility in the price. These farmers are mostly exposed to exploitation by middlemen or the dealers. Sixth and seventh point is payment abuse. When dealing in cash transactions or when selling off on credit basis, so farmers are exposed to, mostly exposed to, say, payment abuse. Sometimes the buyer does not pay in full, the buyer does not pay at the rate or the price that is decided, or they cut down the prices later on after buying. So these are the problems being faced by these farmers in our industry. So why it is of concern? It is of concern since I have also been into this industry or associated with this industry for over 30 years. So we have witnessed that due to these problems, the private farming or the rural farming is actually diminishing. It's diminishing at a great extent. So when we realize these problems, so I being from the IT background, I've been serving with the IT multinational for over 4 years. So when I came to industry, the moment we highlighted these problems and we discussed it, I could actually potentially imagine a digital solution to this. So that gave rise to our startup, that we started highlighting these problems, and we started working on these problems for about a year. And then we designed a digital solution around these problems. The solution was termed Poultry. We coined a name, we got it trademarked, and this Poultry was actually a digital marketplace. It is an online digital trading platform which links buyers to the traders. So any farmer who is logged into our platform or is registered on our platform has access to all the buyers, all the traders, not geographically bound by his location. So this is kind of a digital marketplace. Our vision was to make every farm digitally traceable and make the real data accessible to each farmer, so that now the farmer is aware of the latest price fluctuations in and around his city. He is well aware that what is the price when he is ready to sell, what is the price he should be selling at. Then our mission is to empower farmers with digital tools and services so as to improve their productivity. So we also aim, apart from over this poultry trading solution, in future we aim to create solutions or tools or mini apps for the farmers, wherein they can track their productivity digitally, not using the old methods of production register, but using the digital technology, digital logs, and with comparable or analyzable data in terms of graphs, or say in terms of spreadsheets, so which could actually be analyzed and decisions could be taken on. So I'll just highlight in these next two slides, I'll highlight a key point, that how digital market reach is different from traditional market reach. So we see a screen here, a geographical location. These icons actually represent the farms scattered over the geographical locations. These are the icons, actually you can call them buyers or the traders scattered across the same geographical locations. Now, as per traditional market reach, what happens is each farmer is limited or is bound by geographical location to sell off his livestock. He's connected with a limited number of buyers or marketplaces or sellers or retailers, but say close to some kind of range of around 30 to 40 to 50 kilometers maximum to sell off his livestock. When we talk about a digital solution or a digital marketplace, what happens is the same farmers or the same buyers, they come onto a platform, and every farmer or every buyer is connected to every buyer or the farmer available on the platform. This is not at all bound geographically. So this is one key aspect of this going say using technology or going digital market. So these are the screens from our solution. Now I'll just in next few slides I'll just walk you through our Poultry application or solution. The entire application has been designed keeping in mind our users who are mostly farmers, users who are not very much technology friendly, users who are not very well used to using the applications, mobile platforms. So we have kept in mind the user base. We know they are not very well educated, they are not very well technology friendly. So we have kept the entire UI mostly graphical, and we have ensured that each sign in or selling off or completing each transaction onto our platform takes a minimum number of steps taken input from the user. So based on this, even our login screen is designed only login using a mobile number and OTP. The farmer just needs to, or any user who registers onto the platform just needs to punch in his registered phone number, and simply verifying the OTP, he can just log into our platform. On the login, these are the basic or say main transaction screens available onto our application. The first one you can see is the home screen. The second one is the map view screen, and third one is the market watch screen. The home screen shows all the listings of selling the livestock available in the list form. The user will actually have to scroll through this list in order to find the say produce the requirement that he's interested in. These lists are sortable according to the distance, according to the farms, or say according to the weight range. These can also be filtered. Then this list can also be set as favorite. For example, a buyer is mostly interested in say a few farmers around his location. He can just set his favorite list, and all those listings would be always shown on the top. The second one is map view screen. Again, talking to our user base. So as user might not be convenient scrolling through the long list of the listings to make his purchase, we have a map view screen that is very easy to use. User can simply zoom in and zoom out a geographical location. The moment he zooms in or keeps zooming in, all the farms with his listings, they appear as a notation on the this screen. And the moment he clicks on this icon, the details of that listings are populated beneath him. So he can just scroll through this image on the map and just choose his listing. The details are available, and simply clicking the book button, he'll go on to making a purchase. The third screen is market watch screen. This is more of an informational screen. This is kept designed keeping in mute so that the price fluctuations are actually flown real time to the users, so that they are aware of the prices and they can decide their prices that they want to sell at. Coming to the next screens, I think this shows the other screens, that is my bookings. So each farmer gets a request in his listings. He can just go through those requests and approve or disapprove it. Once they are completed or cancelled, they are segregated into different tabs. Third one shows the wallet screen. So user has to maintain a balance with us. They put a some amount of money into our account. That ledger balance is shown as wallet here, and using that amount he can make a purchase. And since we are digital platform, the once the purchase is made, immediately after the lifting, the amount is transferred within 1 day to the farmer's bank account. In the next slide, I'll just take you through the process of one transaction happening through our digital marketplace. The farmer here actually posts his listing out the weight range available, the farm he has chosen at, and the price he's wanting to fetch. And he has an option to upload the picture of the flock as well. Just providing this data, his listing goes live onto our platform. One more thing to mention here. Each listing on our platform is time bound. A user can choose, or the farmer can choose, whether his listing would live for 6 hours, 12 hours, or maximum 24 hours. This has been ensured so that any say old listings or the listings that are no longer in use are always removed and only fresh listings are available. So we have kept this say window of listing in the platform. Once that listing goes live onto our platform, the buyers can log in. He can scroll through the listings. He can, depending on his requirements, he can choose a farm closest to him that fulfills his requirement. He can make a booking. Clicking the booking button sends the transactions to the farmer for his approval. Once the farmer approves the transactions, the buyer can then send his vehicle or the farmer details with location, and his phone number are shared with the buyer or the trader. The buyer can then send his vehicle for the lifting of the livestock. Once the lifting is complete, the farmer would actually key in the exact or the say actual billed quantity onto our application. This will again be verified with an OTP. OTP has to be shared by his trader or the person who has gone for lifting. The OTP will only be sent on a registered buyer's phone number. Once the OTP is shared and punched in onto the application after the verification of the actual bill quantity, the transaction becomes complete and the payment is debited from trader's account and is credited to the farmer's account. This is the complete process or complete single transaction process of our application. So I already walked you through this process. Now, what are the key features of using a digital platform like first, we provide instant settlements. The farmers will no longer have to wait for his settlement to be done by the buyer or the trader. We have a window of 1 to 2 days, and within which the amount is, after complete transaction, the amount is immediately transferred directly to the farmer's bank account. We provide greater reachability. As already walked through the reachability of digital platform, I told you the farmer is now connected to a larger number of the buyers or traders. Connecting to a wider or a greater reachability ensures that he can fetch a higher price for his livestock. Then, as already mentioned, we provide digital settlements. Then we have a 24-hour booking. Since it's not a manual platform, it's a digital platform. It's operatable 24/7 as long as there is availability availability with the farmer that who has posted the listings. Then we have a map view features. We provide greater accessibility. Then we also provide reduced overhead cost. Why? Because, say, for example, a buyer was interested in buying a weight range of 2 kg livestock, but he was not aware that his farmer closest just at a distance of 5 kilometers has a weight range available of 2 kg. Why? Because he was not connected with that farmer. Why? And once through our platform, it comes to know that yes, 2 kg weight range availability of broiler is available just closest 5 kilometers to me, which otherwise he would have fetched it from, say, 50 or 100 kilometers. So this definitely would reduce his overhead cost that he would have made in making a distance booking. So as I already mentioned, we actually developed and launched this application in just 2021 beginning. And we did a beta testing of this application for about 6 months. We added some insights from farmers and traders. So now I'll just walk you through the features based on that insights or the valuable feedback. We highlighted some of the features that will be launching in the coming version 2 of the application. First
Saurabh,
is we'll be
sorry, can I
integrating.
interrupt you here, Saurabh?
Yes, sir.
If you can wrap up in the next 2 minutes, please. I think it's very exciting, but quickly wrap up in the next couple of minutes, and then we can have a lot of time for discussion. Thanks.
Sure. I'll just, I think just discussing future features, I'll just find out. So next, we want to integrate logistics onto our application that will be integrating providing transport support. Second is we'll be actually using a Vision API. We'll be analyzing the pictures of the health of the flock that will be uploaded onto our platform. Third, we are also going to integrate it with the marketing tools so that all the links can be shareable and can be sent on social media or WhatsApp platform so as to increase the reachability. I think skip the roadmap slide. So some of the rewards and recognition, we are already DEEP certified startup, and we have recently been incubated under RKVY Raftar scheme with the National Institute of Agriculture Marketing Jaipur. Under their guidance, we have been designing and working onto this platform. And we are happy to announce that by end of this year, we'll be launching a working version 2.0 of the application, and we'll be launching it pan-India. Thank you. Thank you again, ThinkTech, for giving this opportunity to present our startup.
Thank you very much, Saurabh. Very systematic approach your company has deployed. I think it'll be very exciting to see how your version 2 pans out and what feedback you get from the farmers. And I'm already thinking, the points that Alok made in his remarks, it'll be interesting to see where the areas of overlap are between their business and yours, and what are the divergent areas. It'll be interesting to discuss that. So thanks a lot, Saurabh.
Thank you.
So next panelist is Manish. Manish, over to you for your presentation or discussion, whichever way you want to go about. Yeah.
Thank you, Raman. Hello to everyone. I actually prepared a small presentation, but I think keeping the time, constraints in mind, I'll just talk a little bit about our application, and I would request Mr. Goswami if he could share the presentation with the participants at a later stage. Okay, so hi, hello everybody. My name is Manish Goyal. We actually have started a platform. Currently, it's an e-commerce platform called Polmart. It's basically an e-commerce marketplace exclusively for poultry industry, and we are three co-founders in this. Myself is uh, through and through IT guy, more than 20 years of experience in IT, did my master's in the US and then decided to come back and start something. And, interestingly, happened to be in the poultry industry because I met a couple of, my co-founders. They are from poultry industry. They have been, providing services in poultry industry in the under the name of papak.com, providing egg rates and hen rates and many other rates for the farmers on a daily basis. So when we were trying to think about something, when I actually started learning about poultry from them, we realized that there is a lot of issues that we see in poultry. Although it's an industry, but there have been multiple issues. It's a very, very traditional way of doing things, very rural area oriented, lot of fragmentation that we see. There is no integrated or single market or marketplace around across India. There is we see a lot of inefficiencies. So we decided that we'll try to bring in, use IT as an enabling platform to somewhere, create those efficiencies and create economies of scale. And so one of the first very ventures that we started was, this e-commerce marketplace called polmart.com, where we have tried to bring the manufacturers and suppliers and buyers together across India. We have been serving poultry farmers from Northeast, starting Tripura, Nagaland, Manipur to Kanyakumari, Srinagar, JNK, and most of the mainland India, I would say. And apart from that, we are also working on some of the other platforms using cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence, smart farms. We have just created a proof of concept, egg price prediction algorithm, and we are trying to still improve it and work on it. So in this way, when I talk about our vision, we basically sort of divided our vision into two stages. First stage is creating enabling platforms like egg prediction, uh, e-commerce platform, management softwares, and many other things. And then the next and the ultimate goal would be to create something that we call connected poultry, where we would like have our multiple platforms talking to each other smoothly, cloud-based systems. All the stakeholders that we have, farmers, traders, business, manufacturers, credit companies, the information flowing smoothly across it, and create something that would be a really connected poultry. And we would like to use those artificial intelligence platforms, IoT systems, and many other latest technological advancements to help improve poultry systems. So this is very basic I just talked about, and I have already shared my presentation with Mr. Goswami, and I request him if he could share it with others. Thank you.
Thanks, Manish. Abhijit, if you could put the presentation in the chat box for everybody. Manish, thanks for
Thank you.
very crisp discussion Sorry, very crypt presentation, and then we'll pick it up in the discussion area. Next speaker is panelist presenter is Ajay from Egg Yolk. Ajay, over to you.
Thank you so much sir, for inviting me in this wonderful session, and thank you so much, and ThinkEgg, for organizing such type of sessions. So without taking much more time, I just like to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible, sir.
Yes, it is. Thanks. But your presentation is yet to come up.
Yeah, just allow me for 1 second.
Yeah. That's good. So you just make it slideshow. That'll be great. Thanks.
So see, Egg Yolk is application and the website, and without taking much more time, I would just like to start it. Right. So Egg Yolk is a application and website covering all the categories of the poultry. If I talk about the feed, if I talk about the broiler industry, if I talk about the hatching eggs, chicken, and all the services that we can think in the poultry, right? So, and we are the company selected in the Startup India, and the scheme from where we get the funding from the government also. And this idea is recognized by the government of India also. And the name of company is All Agri Online Private Limited, and the name of our brand is trademark is Egg Yolk. So we started in 2020, and before proceeding further, I just want to start with a story. Like the founder of our companies, Mr. Ashok ji, who was in the poultry trading and the poultry farming from past 12 years. So once he decided, like, it's a story of before 2 years, before starting this company and before starting the Egg Yolk, I just want to discuss about the origin of this idea. So he was at his native village, so he in the family function, so he decided that he will not work for that day. Like, he's not going to sell or purchase the egg of the farmer on that particular day because he was occupied on that day. So he was getting a call from one farmer again and again. He said that, please do not disturb me today, I'm with family, so please do not call me again and again. So he started again and again calling, and he said that, I don't know, I don't care about the family function and all. See, please do one thing, sell my eggs, because he used to do trading at that time. Please do sell my eggs. So if you will not sell my eggs, then my hens, my birds will die, and you will be only responsible for that. So what Ashok ji did, he was even ready to sell the like, at that time the price of the egg was around 4, and he was ready to sell at 3 o'clock. I'm literally, I'm agreeing with the Saurabh ji, who started with the loopholes, and I totally agree with the problems that he identified in this sector. And moreover, what that farmer did, that farmer have to sell these on sell the eggs on the very less rate. And even at that time, Ashok ji decided that, see, we have he has only one option, and if he might not be having option like me, and then what he have to do? Egg is a very perishable item, like we can't store it for 2 to 3 days, or like for the many days. So he said that, I'll be able to purchase the feed only if you will sell these eggs. So he was ready to sell the eggs in less than like 1 rupee per egg. So it shows that how there is a limited access to the buyer and the seller. And proceeding further, so we have this was the only reason we have started with the Egg Yolk. So proceeding further, like as Dr. R.N. Chatterjee mentioned that 50% of the 50% of the meat is provided by the poultry only. And Dinesh Bhosle said that we have the cheapest source of the nutrition that I have mentioned over here. Like, egg is the only cheapest source of the nutritions that we can have. or else I don't feel that there is any other cheapest source of nutrition other than eggs. So I'm just wrapping up without taking much more time. So we have malnutrition problem in the, well, you know, if we talk about in our country, like 52% of the married women are suffering from the anemia, and they are having the problem of the hemoglobin. So 44% of the children are underweight under the age of 5 years. So if we start serving the eggs to them, then these problems can be stopped, and even this is the very cheapest source of the nutrition. So this was all about how important this industry is. And see now, talking about the advantages in working India, like it's a fastest growing economy and the second largest producer of the consumer markets. Industry is growing very well, as previous speakers mentioned. So this is the industry which is growing, and we are in that industry which is growing. So these are the products and services offered by us. Like we are in eggs, chicks, birds, chickens, litter and manure, medicine, feed, packaging, farm manpower, etc., etc. Right. So these are the few loopholes I just want to discuss. Like there is a very limited access to the seller and buyer, as Saurabh mentioned very well. Like there is a very less business opportunities for the farmer, for the small farmer I am talking about. Like there is an exploitation by the unauthorized agents. There is a lack of centralized market. Like if anybody wants to start the poultry farming, then what he have to do? He like if there is a it's a hereditary business, or if anybody wants to start, then it must be like any relatives must be doing the same business, else it's very difficult for the new beginner to start. Like he have to understand everything, like the every type of management, like the feed management, farm management, and the supply chain systems and all. So there is a very much price fluctuation, as we can say, like share market. So so these were the some loopholes that we worked on. So in 1915, when it was the conventional market, like I met some of the farmers, those discussed with me, like they used to carry the eggs through the baskets in the Delhi market from the Haryana or Barwala, and after that, when telephone came, then they used to call the trader or the those who are the buyer in the market. So it make quite easy. Then after mobile came, then it make quite easy, like the business came in the pocket. So after, when WhatsApp came, like I'll say that it make easy all, but along with the easier, like it also make industry quite unstable. Like if we talk about the rates, as Saurabh was saying, that there is a less communication of the rates. What I said, that after WhatsApp coming, there is a over communication of the rates to the poultry farmers. Like they are unable to get the right information instead of the getting the information right. So these are the some loopholes that we have identified and we started working on, and we worked a lot on the customer feedback. Like they were expecting like the market trends and the forecast. Like we came just to stabilize the supply chain management, just to give the solutions, just to give the buy and sell support to the farmers. But we worked on the feedbacks, and we have to, it was our it becomes our priority to start with the poultry rates and to provide poultry rates to the farmers. So after that, these are the few screens that we can see here. Like a buyer can post their product, and the seller of the relevant can that product can purchase from there. And we have the one options of the submit requirement. Like the buyer can submit the requirement, those who wants to buy the product, and he will get the notification. The notification will go to the relevant sellers. So this is how it become easy for the buyer and seller to connect. And after that, we'll see the rates. Like we can see, that's how we are providing the rates of the birds, eggs, and the hatching eggs and all. So let's understand the egg yolk from this picture. Like on one side, we can see the farmers, those who are having the poultry products. And other side, we can see the company or the seller of the products, like having the feed, drinker, and all these things, right? So see, decrease in sales and marketing cost of the sellers. Like a company have to invest on the sales structure, right? So if a company will sell through this supply chain, like through the egg yolk only. If a company lifts the product on egg yolk, then farmer will came to know about that product and he can directly purchase from there. Like sales cost of the company decreases, and moreover, when farmer will purchase, the margin which the company was investing on the sales and marketing, in like farmer can get on lesser rate as compared to the traditional trend the farmer used to get. So farmer can get on lesser rate, and it can help to reduce the production cost of the farmer. And when farmer will sell their product, and he will get the more opportunities to, you know, to sell the products. He will get the more traders, he will get the more wholesalers around him, and he can get a good price. So moving further, we have catered all the categories, like whatever we can think about poultry, we have tried to cover all the categories also. And if I talk about our USP, like we can say that I came to know about, like Saurabh is doing great after going through his presentation, right? So it's a B2B marketplace of the India, and provide real market trends, give facility to buy and sell every product related to the poultry, and platform covering all the categories of the poultry, right? And if I talk about the user base, like our user base is increasing with a very good speed. We have launched this application in December 2021, and till now we have user base of more than 33,000. This is the last updated on the 24th June. At that time we have the user base of 30,000 and total active user base of 24,000. So right, so this is this is the egg yolk news. Why we have started this? Like we start, as we mentioned before, that we start uh, getting the feedbacks of the poultry farmers, that they were asking us for the feedbacks. They were asking us for the consultancy. They were asking for the us regarding the feed management, regarding the treatment of the poultry bird. So what we thought that like starting a YouTube channel, like it would be great for the farmers to become the voice of the farmers, to start with the providing information related to the poultry through a YouTube channel only. So we started the Egg Yolk News and Egg Yolk monthly magazine with the name of Egg Yolk Patrika, and we are getting a very good response on this news channel also. And through this we are providing the consultancy, and we are trying to cater all the categories of the, and we are highly working on the feedbacks of the farmers. So these are the services that we are offering, like poultry rates, trends, poultry consultancy, buy and sell supports, and advertisement. Like a company is looking for the, definitely when a company launch any product, then definitely company looks for the one window solution for the advertisement. That we can say that we have the relevant audience of the all the categories, and we are offering the advertisement to the companies also, like they can lift their product and sell directly to the farmers there. Right, we see, this is the team, this is the behind the this egg yolk idea. Like Ashok ji, who is the founder, and after that it's me, Ajay Narwal, handling sales and the marketing, and along with the Egg Yolk News and all. And Kulveer ji is handling the finance and the operations, and Javed ji is responsible for the product development. So these are the few associates. Like Pro Sodium, we are the responsible for the marketing and sales of the Pro Sodium also. Like this, it's a product of the Aditya Birla Group of the Grasim Industries. Like other few associates we have. And these are the some images that I really want to wrap up, and I just want to show, like this is the image. In first we can see that we were invited by the government of Haryana when a delegation from Ethiopia came, and they were this was the meeting held in the Chandigarh in the Raj Bhavan. And after that I met with the Rupala ji, who is our minister, and he invited just for the some feedbacks and the some suggestions, like how we can cater the program that is going right now in the poultry sector, as the production cost of the farmers is exceeding their selling cost. Like I just put up some feedbacks there, and after that on the World Egg Day I was invited to deliver a session there related to the benefits of the eggs, and in the Niftam college, it's in Delhi NCR. And after that we have signed some MOUs with the colleges also in terms of to provide the internship and the training to the colleges. After that, this is the team that we can say which is behind this egg yolk. So this was all about us, and thank you so much for inviting me here in this wonderful event. So I would love to answer if you have any question for me. So I would love to answer. Over to you, sir. Raman sir.
Thank you, Ajay. Very, very informative and obviously addressing problems at the grassroots. We are now down to our last speaker, panelist, Sumit Parikh. Sumit, I hope I pronounced the name correctly. He's from the IIEC. Sumit, you have 5 minutes, and that will leave us about 20 minutes to have Q&A from this very exciting panel and also from our featured speakers. Over to you, Sumit.
Great. Amazing discussion today. I have learned a lot of things, and I would like to thank everyone in this session to give their best. Thank you so much. Thank you for this initiative when we talk about the value chain, because value chain is the ultimate goal. It's not about the supply chain. I hope my voice is audible to all of you guys. I'm not so much handy with laptops. Yeah. So before talking about my presentation, I will just talk about one incident which I'm basically from a family which is 100% pure vegetarian. Okay. And like me, there are maybe 40% people probably in India who are vegetarian on paper at least. But when I see people, they are the one who actually go in the evening time in the egg stalls and they have. So when I see myself now, when I was young, quite young, we were staying in northeast part of India. So northeast India is a place where non-vegetarian is the very normal food, like it's normally accepted. But what I see is we can't change the thinking pattern of people. It has taken years of time, I would say centuries of time, for how we have been now. So instead of changing the mindset of people, because a lot of PR, a lot of things government has also done, but after all these things, if you see today, we are still in the same state that nahi, if somebody is from Jain community, they would prefer not to even have anything, even the roots like carrot or beetroot. So I'm saying instead of changing the mindset of the masses, it's better to work on areas where we can talk about the health benefits or the financial benefits. When I say the financial benefits, so here I have seen a lot of people from my community, from Marwadi community, from Jain community, who say that, no, we will not have non-veg and egg. But if you see the business side, they are so much interested in doing it because there is a good ROI or return on investment which they get from the business. Isn't right? Right? So this is a common thing. Like, acha, kahan pe paisa batao? I will invest in that. So if money is there in the egg business, a lot of people will be interested to invest. Now, let me give a little brief about who I am and what I do. I run an institute. It's called Indian Institute of E-Commerce. Pre-COVID, it was purely offline, working from Bangalore, but now it is happening online, and we are quite happy with this. What we do, we have a very simple method to run our institute. We have courses. There's a course which we run. It's called Certified E-Commerce Professional. That costs some money, but if you look at people, why they should start a business online? That is the first question, because I'm talking about something which is related to the meat and poultry industry. We have a course for that, but we do not charge any money from our users because the course is completely free. There is no cost. What we do, we help them set up an online D2C business. D2C business means, if example, Srinivas Farms are there and they have been into poultry business for a quite long. They're the biggest name in the industry today. And if you look at them, they want to create a network of channel partners. For example, not everyone will be able to be into the manufacturing business. What they will be interested for is, how can I make money? And then the challenge is the capital required. So not everyone has got ample capital. So they want to start something which is with low budgets, low investments, and more importantly, they want to make money quickly. This is the tendency of today's younger generation. And if I look at them, they are okay to start any business where they feel that, acha, this business I can do, I know the target audience. For example, where the eggs can be sold. Egg to sabhi jagah hai, everywhere you can see. So what is going to be the USP for this egg business? There's a brand called Eggos. What they are into is purely egg white in the liquid form. They are based out of Gurgaon. They were one of my students in 2016-17. I remember this guy came out with an idea that I want to start a business where for calisthenics, for this people who are in gym, especially those guys who are vegetarian, they cannot. And this guy is a vegetarian, by the way. And he's the one who said, like, I'm having trouble in making egg related products or maybe non-veg in home. But how do I solve this problem? Then we formulated an idea that why not to have this egg whites like it is there in US. In the same way, we can have this e-commerce store and people can start buying from you and we can start selling. It's a very simple process and it's a handy thing also. You don't have to eat a lot of these dal or whatever it is, you can simply consume. So this way, this particular company, they started doing well. They started getting funding. They have been in the profitable stage now. So one company came with this single idea that, okay, I am going to cater only gym and people who are into health related industry and serve them egg white, because egg white is protein, as simple as that. Now, when the psychology is changed, acha, I'm not having egg because of any taste feature, but not even the religious reasons ki main ko kuch problem hoga, because we have to cater those people also. I'm not saying to change the mindset, but what I want is, if we can present the product to the people with health related informations, people are okay. Number one. Secondly, when Eggos came in market, Gurgaon based, they wanted to do this product sale across India, not having a big supply chain also. Kaise karenge? What is the process for it? So pasteurized egg whites in packages can be sold through any, what do you say, this shops or malls across India. Usme kuch limitation nahi hai. Now, if we look at how do we work on this, I'm having a plan. I'm just sharing it. So for example, there are a lot of these people now, the startups, the young guys, they say we want to start a startup. So can we work on a model where we can create a program? Like we created a program for Amazon India, and we told Amazon that instead of recruiting 1 lakh people across India who will be helping them for seller onboarding, this is what the ask from Amazon was. How do we reach out to the remotest part of India and onboard those sellers? Do you know in the last 6-7 years, Amazon has been the most dominant e-commerce company? Flipkart was there. This one game that we implemented has changed the entire ecosystem of the entire e-commerce marketplaces. Amazon has been able to take over Flipkart and all the startups. This is the document you should go through. This is already available in the affiliations page. This will help you to understand the whole case study that what we actually did. Now, the same thing for the meat and poultry e-commerce niche. If you can create a program which can help startups, young people to start a business with just an e-commerce store, products can be supplied by, let's say, Srinivas Farms or any good manufacturer or the poultry farm owner who can regularly supply various types of products. And these e-commerce retailers, we call them as D2C, direct to consumer retailers, can then start their e-commerce stores. And like example, you have dealers and distributors. Same way, we can have thousands of these people across India who can start selling in retail, as well as they can also do the wholesale buying and selling locally. This way, thousands of e-commerce stores can be created, not just limiting to Indian geography, but we can also find people internationally, because the products are products. The cost of manufacturing, all these things you know well about this industry, and a lot of export is anyways happening. So we have to look how we can leverage e-commerce industry because the younger generation, these kids are not interested, majority of them are not interested to set up a store and invest big money, but they are more interested that you give me the marketing creatives and I will be setting up the e-commerce store. I will be marketing it in all the social media channels. I'll also do paid advertisements and get B2B international leads, which then can be converted into a regular product sales. So we have one more venture based out of Singapore and Africa, not to source products from those countries, but to sell Indian products internationally. And we are seeing very good results. Market is there. And I think a product which is related to poultry has got a very, very big market. If we have to break the existing supply chain, we have to come up with a new value chain. And the best way would be if we can have a program which can be free or maybe a small priced online program. And that program can also be affiliated to some university if you want to, like a certification program, a post-graduation program in poultry e-commerce or poultry business or poultry startup, example name I'm giving you. This way, we can engage thousands of these young kids to get into the future supply chain of this particular industry. So my thought process is around education, and I see every industry as a multi-billion-dollar industry, and to make that not just limiting to India, but we can also look for the international exposures. Why I'm saying all these things? In 2016-15, that time when we registered Indian Institute of E-Commerce, the plan was very simple: how India can export products. Either we should start an institute or a company which is purely into export of our Indian products, whether it is poultry, milk, or meat products. But the challenge was same, that the government regulations and all these things were already in place. But this institute is a way where we can educate people and get into the system. So this thought came when I was myself working with Alibaba Group China. I was the global partner there in Hangzhou, and closely I was working with the chairman, Sir Jack Ma, who told me one line that, Sumit, when we started Alibaba, we didn't went with all the products that China is exporting internationally. We only started with one particular industry, that is agricultural products. And in that also, we have chosen dairy and poultry, only these two niches. That means they're very specific about what product they will be exporting from China internationally using Alibaba platform. And these are the products which have got regular supply. You get one international client. If they like the product, the sample is success, then the product is going to be continued. It's going to be a few crore rupees of business or maybe $1 million business. That is a separate thing. So when Alibaba has done from this one niche or one industry, I think we have a bigger potential right now to do the exact same process. Africa is a big market for us. India itself is a market which we are trying to tap, and it's like we are thinking we can do something on it. But I'm saying, why to just limit to one country when the products can just be exported through. There are many services nowadays available, and a lot of startups can be created around that. A lot of these startups can get funded also, but I mean the whole process has to be stitched to each other so that the manufacturers can get the final business from it, and the startup should be hooked that, okay, they have to source the products from here, and the market which is already available, they're sourcing the products from these startups. So this is basically the new age of what do you say? What we create in offline, this dealership and distributionship, that channel only we have to create through the e-commerce mode. And the young generation will be interested to work in this kind of businesses because the profits are good and there's a regular sustainable business. So I'll end my talk with this, and if any query is there, we can discuss. We can even connect on LinkedIn, and if there's a one-on-one discussion required, we are open for that too. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sumit. I think the Egos example was very appropriate. And I think there are tricks to this whole e-commerce business, which need to be kind of mined and made available to entrepreneurs Otherwise, this can be a very expensive proposition. So really, I'm sure a lot of people will be reaching out to you as we move forward. So I just want to thank all the panelists, for sharing their experiences and their journey. Also, I just want to say this is, the third year of the partnership between Srinivasa Farms and ThinkAg, where we've been putting this poultry series. And I must say, the evolution of the marketplace and what I've seen today in the presentation has been phenomenal. Uh, it took much longer for this to happen in the mainstream agriculture crops space, but in poultry, I think it's happened much faster. And kudos to all of you, and obviously, to institutes like yours, Sumit, for enabling this. We have some time. We may we have 10 minutes, but if there are enough questions, we can go beyond as well. I would like to first give the opportunity to Dr. Chatterjee and Dr. Bhosle if they have any questions from the panelists. Over to you, Dr. Chatterjee. Anything that you would like to ask?
Yeah, thank you so much. I don't have any question on panelists, and I have seen and I have listened all of the presenters, and it was very nice that young guys, they're coming to the poultry business, and they're having innovative ideas how to market the things, how to go ahead, how to improve the poultry production in totality in the country. So that is great. Only 2-3 things I will say that I have not mentioned. That is, number one, that our export from the poultry sector is very less. It is around 600 to 700 crores only. But you will say that whatever domestic demand is there, that we are unable to do it. But simultaneously you have to think of the export from different states. Of course, some of the states, they are already in that business, maybe particularly Tamil Nadu, maybe Erode and Namakkal district, and they are supplying the egg powder and maybe table eggs and all that. And even live birds and poultry meat, that is also going to different countries, maybe Gulf countries or European countries or Russian countries. But I should say from my side to all the panelists and all the participants and all the industry sectors, our colleagues, that we should try for the export of our poultry products, and there is a committee from the Ministry of DADF, Ministry of Animal Husbandry, Fisheries and Dairying. That committee is the compartmentalization committee, where I am the chairman from the South India, and for the last 12 years I am there in the committee, and we have facilitated the export from our country. And Andhra Pradesh number 1 being in egg production, then Telangana number 3 in egg production, but not much is being done from these two states, or from in West Bengal also not being done for the export angle. So that is number 1. Another thing is that some good things are happening, like the young guys from different field, from different arena, they are coming to the poultry business. That is very good to see them all, very young generation from different fields. They are joining in the poultry industry or poultry sector of the country, and there is a wide means very wide opportunity, I should say, for the poultry industry. And if we see that if you see the total the poultry production capabilities, that was in backyard sector 7 decades back, but it was the same scenario in China. Now the China is producing 42% of the total egg production of the world. How it has happened? But the number of the poultry population maybe in the millions or the billions in to some of the poultry farmers, so that we are not there in that. So I will request who are there from the poultry sector, industry sector, particularly Suresh ji, that we can at least we should come to that particular stage, that at least very big farmers should be there in some pockets, and they will be having different in different states or different union territories, their marketing channels and all that, so that the egg production capability, now it is 122, how can you go for the 200 billions or maybe by maybe 2050 and so on. So we have to look that aspect. Another thing is that maybe 3-4 years back there was a problem, that is USA wanted to export their poultry meat to our country. That was a big problem, and in that particular aspect, DADF, from DADF I was the chairman of the committee, and we have done some exercise and how to that has been managed by the Ministry of DADF, so that the export from USA of the poultry meat, that has not happened. So that was the good thing that has happened in the poultry sector. So another thing is that in broiler sector, AGP, we are not talking about the whatever we are doing, antimicrobial growth promoter we are using in some of the broiler sectors, and the AMR is being developed, antimicrobial resistance, which is a big problem for all these sectors, maybe human being, maybe livestock, maybe poultry, maybe fish. So in that aspect also we should think of, we should make some research, and of course we are already in that particular aspect, particular job. So with that, if there is any question for me, I'll be happy to reply. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chatterjee. Manish, before I come to you, I just want to reach out to an attendee who's raised their hands. Kabir, you had raised your hand. Please go ahead, Kabir. Kabir? Kabir, you are muted. Okay, while Kabir tries to come online, Samir Malik, you had raised your hand. Okay, so Manish, you had a question or a comment. Over to you.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to say that this session has been very interesting and very informative one. We should be having more of these sessions regularly. That's one thing. This is probably in the last couple of maybe 3 years of our existence. This is the first time we have had something that could be considered meaningful. Number one. Number two is what we see in this discussion is, although we have talked about poultry, but mostly it was talking about eggs and even to some extent broilers also, and feed. But I think there are many other sub sectors within poultry, like hatcheries and other things. I think we should be it'll be interesting and good to have them also within these kind of sessions. I think I would request if there could be some sort of a forum that is active and where we could share a concern, challenges, discussions, and see how we can take poultry in India forward with all our efforts. That'll be great. And one last question that I would probably would love to sort of bring out here is that being startups and from areas that are not the hubs of startups, we find it sometimes difficult to sort of gather resources and other things. So I think I don't know how it could be solved, but maybe you have some idea as to how if there is some sort of a way or platform where we could present our ideas and see if there could be some sort of a help, hand holding, some funding. That will be great, because otherwise, while we are doing our bit, but it's going to be a very slow and painful process. And I was, I would like to say that during this pandemic, for the almost 1.5 years, it became huge challenge for even to survive and stay afloat, because things were really down in poultry. E-commerce was even asked to shut down by the government for the period of this pandemic. So it was very difficult and challenging, and it'll be interesting to see if we could have some of those ways of creating a Shark Tank like poultry or something similar, where we could pitch and see if we can have some sort of help and monetary help, funding, and whatever that we could be done.
No, excellent points, Manish. Thank you very much for your comments and suggestions. Abhijit will take these on board, and we will put together some of these points and suggestions, including others that are there, and we'll definitely take this forward. And also, we will over time sharply define the space in terms of whether it is hatcheries or whatever, and build specific conversations around that. So thanks a lot for your comments. Uh, there is Dr. Chatterjee. Is Dr. Chatterjee still there? Yeah, there are comments in the questions in the Q&A on the export side. Would you like to comment on that, and also on biosecurity certification?
Yeah, actually, there is one committee, compartmentalization committee by Government of India, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying. And the channel is that the state government should forward anybody's application or any farmer's application through state government, and the state government will scrutinize, and then that will go to the Ministry of DADM, Government of India, and thereafter that will come to
for exports.
Yeah. Actually, for export, the certificate from the compartmentalization committee that is required. So without that, it is difficult for any bidder, because most of the countries, they are taking our poultry products. They need that certificate. Without that, they are not accepting. So that's why I am telling.
Okay. And there is a question from Nomita about introducing biosecurity certification and biometric registration of all poultry farms. The example of Ghana has been shared. Is there something like that happening in India, or anything that you're aware of that you can throw some light on, Dr. Chatterjee or Dr. Bhosle?
Actually, sir, biosecurity and biosafety, that is a part and parcel of any big farm, or those who are engaged in pure line breeding, or maybe parent breeding farms, that is there. And they have the specific whatever protocols are there for maintaining the biosecurity and biosafety they are maintaining. So that is there, and biometrics aspect, of course, it is everywhere now.
Okay. So yeah, Nomita, this is, as you heard Dr. Chatterjee comment, this is already part of the standard operating procedures. Obviously, it's private sector led, so people must be implementing it based on their own capabilities and their own diligence. But clearly, given the way things have been happening, and of course with the onset of COVID and the issues on zoonotic diseases, we all have to be much more vigilant in this.
Exactly.
And I think there will be specialist services that will be there. Dr. Bhosle, would you like to comment on this?
Thanks, Raman. Basically, I will encourage all companies to be in touch with trade associations like CLEFMA of India, Compound Livestock Feed Manufacturers Association. There's another association called Poultry Federation of India. It's an association of industry and poultry farmers. And there is a scientific association called IPSA, Indian Poultry Science Association. And I will encourage all companies to come and visit Poultry India exhibition in last week of November at Hyderabad. So that will be really eye-opening exhibition for all of you. And I'm already mentoring few poultry companies, and Raman will agree with me that there are very few startups companies in poultry, because poultry industry is very well organized. And it is as per the international standard. But if you look at the supply chain and marketing, we are very primitive. So startup has a lot of opportunity, potential to work in supply chain, in branding, marketing, etc. Licious is a great example, and I wish best of luck to all the startup companies. And please feel free to contact us. We'll be able to help you. What happens, again, Raman will agree with me that a lot of information is available in public domain about dairy sector. But if you go to poultry sector, reliable information is not available. So I will request Hemendra and Raman to come out with annual report on poultry sector. Maybe Think AG can do that. And this report can highlight all the startups who are working in this sector. And because what happens, the challenges what these startups are facing, if they sit with people like us, within few hours, we'll be able to answer all their queries and things. I could see that few assumptions were also wrong. So I think there is a time, means during initial phase only, all startups should have right assumptions. That's very important. Otherwise, you will build a company on the wrong assumption, and when you scale up, there are chances of failure. So I think, and as everybody mentioned, India never paid attention towards exports of any agriculture commodity except shrimp and buffalo meat. So when we can export shrimp and buffalo meat, why can't we export other products from animal husbandry sector? So I think this is a great study again. Means we should do it.
Sure.
And I was reading few reports from Tata Cornell project of Prabhu Pingley, and I think very good on malnutrition and other things. I think I will encourage. And as somebody mentioned, Manish mentioned, that egg is the best product presently, because it's very difficult to transport live broilers. You have a limitation. You cannot transport beyond certain geographical area unless and until you are processing it. But egg is the best thing, because after the hen gives the eggs, it is fit for 21 days. And you can, and in India you can see Andhra Pradesh and Namakkal, they are exporting eggs to East India and Northeast India. Sumit mentioned about Northeast India. The egg consumption is highest, but look at the price in Northeast India for eggs. They have to pay almost 12 rupees per egg, and in Pune I pay only 6 rupees. So they pay double. So why they should pay double? So I think affordability, why chicken and eggs become popular in India, because due to affordability. So I think it's our job, it's a job of all startup companies, that we should make affordable and nutritious meat and eggs available to each and every section. Thanks.
Thanks, Dinesh. I think those are very, very helpful suggestions. We'll definitely take them on board and bring out a compendium on the poultry sector, not just on the input-output side, but on the services and other dimensions of the value chain, which will be useful for investors as well as for other players. And I think, based on what I've been reading, Indian poultry sector has been vertically integrated, and it's been like that for a very long time. And that's how the FAO model is also describing the poultry industry. What is not seen and recognized is that when a company is vertically integrated, which means it's providing almost all the services other than the production of the core product, there will be inefficiencies that will be there, because the company is not an expert in procuring services or expert in procuring input raw materials and so on and so forth. With the startups that have come in and the people who presented today, I think we will see a lot of interesting things happening in the supply chain side, and definitely on the market side. And we'll see a lot more efficiencies coming in because of the reach that each of these startups is trying to bring to the marketplace. What Manish, Ajay, Saurabh, Alok, all of them that are doing, I think they will, I wouldn't say disintermediate, but they'll improve the service levels and also improve the pricing that will be there for the farmer producers. So I think that's a very, very interesting place, and that actually frees up the capital of large integrated poultry players like Srinivasa and others to focus on the core issues. So I think we will see those developments in the coming years, and that's very heartening. Kabir, are you able to raise your question? Kabir? I just want to pick up a question. I joined at the end of Dr. Chatterjee's remarks. One of the things, I think India is fairly large in backyard poultry, and backyard poultry is is a very, very rich source of nutrition for the producer and the producer family. Our state of food insecurity report that recently came out, the global hunger index, and so on and so forth. We can all debate about the validity of those numbers, but broadly we know that there are issues of malnutrition prevalent in India. And backyard poultry, and this is just some examples that I heard from places during the COVID period, lockdown period. Farmers, those producers could actually have nutritional food because they were doing backyard poultry, and they could not sell it beyond a particular place because of the lockdown. But it did well for their families and for the village. The second thing that I've learned from the people working in backyard poultry is that the incidence of disease in backyard poultry is much less than as compared to other integrated models or quasi-integrated models. Maybe Dr. Chatterjee can comment on this, or Dinesh can comment on this. And just linked to that, I would just like to hear from the startups if they are engaged with backyard poultry producers and what have been their experiences. So first, Dinesh or Dr. Chatterjee, if you can comment on this, please.
Actually, sir, we have done some analysis disease resistance pattern of different native birds. Some of the native birds we have analyzed the disease resistance, particularly for the bacterial diseases, and we have found out that the native birds, they are much more resistant to some of the diseases. I should not say every native bird they are resistant to every disease. It is not like that. But some of the native birds, they are resistant to some of the maybe Escherichia coli, Salmonella, and all that, whatever we have studied. So that disease resistance is there, number one. Number two, they are stress resistant. Whatever climate change is happening, maybe Andhra Pradesh or the whole coastal area, the hot and humid climate that is affecting the poultry industry a lot every year during the summer season. So the native birds or the backyard poultry, whatever improved varieties we are developing, they are stress resistant, they are disease resistant, because we are studying on that particular aspect. So that is there, but that is only one point or one challenge for the backyard poultry, that is the biosecurity and biosafety. So that is an important aspect for the backyard poultry. So that part also we are taking care of. We have one website, as well as we have one app through which we are helping the farmers all over the country. If any bird or any improved variety they are taking from us, or maybe any other aspect, we are helping through our app or through the phone, what they can do, the farmers can do for the if any disease that occurs in poultry.
Thank you, sir. Dinesh, any comment from you?
Chatterjee sir has said it rightly. Raman, if you go to villages or roadside dhaba on the highways, you will get backyard poultry to eat. And if you see in the rural area, people don't prefer broilers. They prefer backyard poultry. And as you said, it acts as a ATM for poor families.
Yeah.
Means when they need money, they can always sell eggs and they can always sell their birds. It is a feast for guests who come to their home. I helped self-help groups in Jalgaon district to start a small layer project of 500 to 1,000 birds. And those ladies were very happy to sell eggs. Because as I said before, when eggs are available, first they will eat at their home, and then they will sell only surplus eggs. Just like milk. If you look at our total milk production, only 40% is handled by organized sector. Remaining 60% either is consumed by farmer itself, or it's handled by unorganized sector. And the other thing is that only issue is we have a festival almost for 150 days out of 365 days. So consumption of poultry and eggs are limited for only remaining days. So that's a major challenge for our poultry consumption. So affordability, availability, these things are very important. And roughly we say that 75% of the broiler comes from organized sector, and 30% poultry meat comes from the backyard poultry. So that's the statistics. And as you rightly mentioned before, in 1972, first phase of poultry started. Until 97, India became organized poultry sector. In 97, a poultry integration model was brought in by Saguna, and it was copied by others. So during last 25 years, now poultry integration model has reached to its peak. So next 25 years will be for value addition, poultry processing, and all of the things.
Thanks, Anish. I just want to pose my question to the startups. Are any of you working with backyard poultry grower producers or their federations? Anything, any experiences you want to share? Saurabh, any Manish, are you people working with backyard poultry producers at all?
Yeah, Mr. Raman, this is Alok. So we had certain experience in certain states where I would say one step beyond backyard, a small poultry with very less little of birds. So we got engaged with them, though when we started the cattle thing, and that's where we realized, because that was done by small farmers, medium farmers, and that's where their demand started coming, that okay, you can bring us some bags of poultry also. And that is where the whole story started unfolding. And then we realized in certain they are district specific, but there this is going bigger and bigger. And as you rightly told, that it is there, but it is not kind of organized or put somewhere like in a bucket or a basket, that okay, this area, this is there, but it is there. So we have interactions in Rajasthan, parts of Punjab, parts of Haryana, certain pockets we have seen that where we are interacting with them.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, see, this is a growing opportunity, Alok, and I just want to pick up the point that Dr. Chatterjee made about the resilience of the indigenous breeds. I know this is also happening in other allied sectors, fishery especially, where there is a lot of effort now on revival of indigenous species. I know in crops as well, this is happening. If all of you have been tracking, the heat wave that happened in North India during March and April, then temperatures were above normal by 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. Now, this is not, on all the climate models, this was predicted to happen in 2050, right? ICR Ricarda model, they had forecasted a 6% drop in wheat production by 2050 based on temperature change.
Right.
We've already seen this, and the drop actually based on, again, ICR reporting is anywhere from 15 to 25% of wheat yield. So the climate crisis is on top of us. Well, I think one of the things that we will do maybe the next round of discussions is on how the sector is trying to deal with climate change related aspects. This is going to disrupt business models. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. And we'll see more and more the emphasis on the indigenous breeds. So I think all of you startup entrepreneurs keep that in mind. And Alok, our offline conversation, the logistics footprint is also going to be a big challenge. I mean, with fuel costs at 100 rupees, 110 rupees, it's not going to be easy to keep overall costs down, whereas market prices don't change so dramatically. So I think we'll have to see how partnerships can come together between input and output players. And more importantly, in a perishable business like this, how do we get the timing right? Because the transport logistics needs to be available when it's needed.
Yeah. So I would like to add, Mr. Raman, in this, and for benefit of everyone, this is where startups should engage very well with the government, semi-government parts. Like just an example you'd like to share is that, we were running with 2022 warehouses, and suddenly when we got engaged with government and state governments in the 7 states, So now we have more than 100 warehouses because of their sport, using partially their warehousing and others. So the reach became much more larger in that context. So I think as startups, as you rightly pointed out, the dynamics are changing on the ground with crop patterns and other and swing of different varieties going haywire. So we have to be on toes on various, especially on the supply chain side.
Thanks, Alok. We've had a very rich discussion. Any parting remarks from anybody? We've gone beyond time, but
Raman, I just want to mention here that you talked about climate change. My company is providing service of carbon footprint in UK. So I'll be happy to help companies in India, especially startup companies, if they want to do carbon footprint, because it's a big issue in developed countries.
Yeah. No, I think that's very good that you mentioned that, Dinesh. One of the things we should look at and see how carbon footprint mapping can be done for this sector, and see where carbon sequestration can come into play. There is already a lot of talk about carbon credits and all that. I don't want to go there, but I think carbon footprint mapping would become a metric that the startups can start to look at and measure and report that they're actually reducing the carbon footprint. I think that would be very interesting. Let's take that offline. I think there are a lot of ideas that are emerging from today's panel, and I think very, very exciting. Thank you, everybody. And I want to thank Suresh and his team also for putting this together. We will be sharing the recording of this webinar on ThinkAct website as well as on YouTube. And hopefully we'll also bring out a 2-3 page note for everybody to look at what directions are emerging. And we take all your suggestions on board, and we'll also have the next session, series of webinars on poultry. Keep refining the topics as we go along. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
So much.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.